Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Hello students, welcome to second PUC Accountancy online classes. Students, in the previous class we have solved the problem of problem number 9, page number 107, right? Now let us move on to problem number 10, same page number, that's page number 107 of your question bank. Go through the question bank now. I'll read out the problem and then we will analyze and then let us solve the problem. I'll read out the problem. From the following information, prepare balance sheet of Surya Limited for the year ending 31st March 2018 as per Schedule 6 of Companies Act 2013. Equity share capital, no doubt you know it very well, shareholders funds, correct, 20 lakh. Inventories, whether it is required for us, yes, it is required, it is stock. Inventories comes under current asset, right? Plant and machinery, fixed assets, non-current assets. Preference share capital should be added to equity share capital, right? Shareholders fund. Then debenture redemption reserve. Any reserve is a liability, remember. Any reserve is a liability. Now, it depends upon whether it is a short term or long term. Here it is a debenture redemption reserve is a reserve created or provision created. Debenture redemption comes under long term provisions. There are two types of provisions. One provision like a provision for taxation which will be utilized within a period of 1 year, and another one is provision prepared for a longer period of time for more than 1 year. Debenture redemption reserve is also a long term provision because debentures will be redeemed only after the expiry of their term, and term of debenture always will be long term, it is not short term, remember. So debenture redemption reserve means what? The reserve created to redeem the debentures, not dividend, not interest. Debentures to redeem debenture amount itself, principal amount itself, along with maybe if there is interest, outstanding interest should be added, isn't it? So that is a long term provision. Then outstanding expenses, that is other current liabilities. Outstanding expenses, current liability comes under current liability, it is other current liability. Then proposed dividend. Proposed dividend means dividend declared but not paid. The company has declared dividend but dividend is not paid, that is called proposed dividend. Proposed dividend is a current liability, Then land and buildings, no doubt non-current assets or fixed assets, isn't it? Current investments, it comes under current investments, that is under current assets, current investments, isn't it? Cash equivalents, of course, cash and cash equivalents under current asset. Then short term loan from Z Limited. Short term loan from Z Limited means the loan taken from Z Limited, so it is a liability of the business. If short term loan to Z Limited, then it is loan given to other company, maybe subsidiary by the main company, so it becomes asset, like an investment it is, correct? Here it is loan taken from Z Limited, so it is a liability, current liability it is. Current liability, it is a short term liability, because it is so very clearly mentioned short term, right? So it is short term liability. Short term borrowings. Then public deposit. Public deposit can be accepted by a company for a period of not more than 36 months. It is not mentioned whether it is accepted for a period of less than 1 year or more than 1 year. So we will categorize it under under long-term borrowings. Long-term borrowings, because we will assume that the public deposits were accepted for a period of more than 1 year. So the Company Act says the public deposits can be accepted for a maximum period of 36 months, that is 3 years, isn't it? Nothing is mentioned here whether it is long term or short term. We will categorize it as long term borrowings. Long term borrowings. That's all. Because public deposit, that is deposits kept by the public with the company, it is like borrowing by the company, source of capital for the company. It is public deposits, then flowing back of profits or internally generated fund, isn't it? Then loans from financial institutions. All these are the sources of business finance, correct? So here public deposits comes under long term borrowings. So let us solve the problem. Write Surya Limited. Problem number 10, Surya Limited. Surya Company Limited. Makes no difference. It is given as Surya Limited only. Balance sheet. Balance sheet for the year ending March 31st, 2018. Correct? Draw the columns. Do it fast. Yes. I will not write column headings, just write it. Particulars, note number, figures as at the end of current reporting period, rupees, and here figures as at the end of previous reporting period, rupees. Clear? Yes. Let's start now. Roman 1, that is equity and liabilities, isn't it? Equity and liabilities. Roman 1, equity and liabilities. Equity and liabilities. Under that, shareholders funds, first one, shareholders funds. Under that, point A, share capital. Share capital. Prepare working note. Notes to account. Under that first one, draw the columns here. Particulars, amount in rupees, amount in rupees. Particulars, amount in rupees, amount in rupees. One is inner column, the other one is outer column. Yes. Share capital. Under that, equity share capital. Preference share capital. Preference share capital. Preference share capital. How much? Equity share capital is given in the problem, correct? 20 lakh. 20 lakh, inner column. And preference share capital, it is how much it is? Yes, 12 lakh. 12 lakh, preference share capital, 12 lakh. So, 32 lakh. Note number 1, share capital, note number 1, 32 lakh. Clear? Yes. Now, let us move further. Reserves and surplus. Point B, reserves and surplus. Reserves and surplus. Reserves and surplus, how much it is? See that debenture redemption reserve will not come under this, because though it is a reserve, it is a specific reserve. Remember this, friends. Specific reserve created to meet any liability that might arise on account of the redemption of debentures. So it will not come under this. Here only one part will come, that is reserve, isn't it? Whether reserve is there? I think there is no reserve. Yes, inventories, plant and machinery, debenture redemption reserve, it will not come under this. Proposed dividend, current liability. No, debenture redemption reserves are not there here. So point B is not there. If you write, if it is written already, write it as nil. That's all. Makes no difference. Following the format. Okay. Then what else next? Next, non-current liabilities. Correct? Yes, non-current liabilities or fixed liabilities, we call it as non-current liabilities. Under that, non-current liabilities. What are those fixed liabilities? One is debentures. What is there? Then debentures. No, debentures are not there, right? Redemption reserve is there, but debentures are not there. So no question of long-term, that is debentures. Then any other long-term liabilities, proposed dividend, current investments, cash equivalent, short-term loan from Z Limited. No. Public deposits are there. Whether public deposits are there? Yes. Public deposits comes under this, that is non-current liabilities, long-term liabilities or non-current liabilities, that is long-term borrowings, isn't it? Long-term borrowings which comes under this, that is non-current liabilities, long-term borrowings. Point A, public deposits, long-term borrowings, right here. Note number 2, long-term borrowings. Under that, public deposits. Public deposits. How much it is public deposits? Public deposits 12 lakh. Outer column itself, there are no other long-term liabilities, long-term borrowings it is, isn't it? Public deposits 12 lakh. Note number 2. Note number 2, 12 lakh. 12 lakh. Then what else? Then other long-term liabilities are not there. That's all. Short-term loan from Z Limited comes under current liability, short-term borrowings, isn't it? So let us move on to the fourth one. Are there any long-term provisions? No, no provisions, no long-term provisions here. Yes, long-term provision is there. Point D, point C, make it as B here. Long-term provisions, long-term provisions, isn't it? What is that long-term provision? Debenture redemption reserve. Note number 3. Long-term provisions. Long-term provisions. That is under that debenture redemption reserve. Debenture redemption reserve. How much it is? Debenture redemption reserve 6 lakh. Is that correct? Yes, 6 lakh. 6 lakh. So your long-term provisions, note number 3, 6 lakh. Then current liability we have to move on, isn't it, towards current liability. Yes, there is a current liability. Proposed dividend is there. Short-term borrowings are there 4 lakh. So let us move on to third one, current liabilities. Under that, we have to prepare note number 4, current liabilities. Under that, what are the current liabilities here? Short-term borrowings are there, isn't it? Then, short-term borrowings means that is a short-term loan from Z Limited, right? Then one more is proposed dividend, current liability. Outstanding expenses, current liability, right? Proposed dividend comes under current liability, and outstanding expenses, proposed dividend. Then outstanding expenses, write the amounts. Proposed dividend, how much it is? Proposed dividend is 5 lakh. Isn't it? Then one more, outstanding expenses 3 lakh. Outstanding expenses 3 lakh. So it is total is 8 lakh. 8 lakh. So here under current liabilities, let us see what are the items that are to be entered. First one is short-term borrowings. Short-term borrowings, that is a short-term loan from Z Limited, right? Short-term loan from Z Limited, yes it is. Point A, short-term borrowings. From Z Limited, that is 4 lakh, if I am not wrong. Yes, it is 4 lakh. No note number here. Over. Then current liability. Under that, next item is other current liabilities, that is proposed dividend and outstanding expenses, both comes under other current liabilities. Other current liabilities right here, point B, other current liabilities. Note number 4, was a total 8 lakh, right? 8 lakh. So that's all. Your asset side comes to an end. Sorry, liability side comes to an end. Total is 62 lakh. 62 lakh. It is done. Let us move on to the liability side. Sorry, asset side. Let us move on to asset side. Right here, total. Fine. Yes, move on to asset side. Assets. Roman 2 assets. Roman 2 assets. Under that, first one is non-current assets. Under that, fixed assets. Non-current assets. I will take up here. I will erase this upper part. Yes, assets. Roman 2. I'll write here itself, assets. Under that, fixed assets. First one is fixed assets. Under that, point A, tangible assets, isn't it? Tangible assets, yes it is. Tangible assets. For that, you have to prepare a working note, I think. How many tangible assets are there? Plant and machinery is there, isn't it? Inventory is a current asset. This is non-current asset. Under that, it's a tangible one is plant and machinery, and land and buildings are there. So 2 assets. So prepare note. Find tangible assets. Under that, plant and machinery. Plant and machinery. Plant and machinery. How much it is? Plant and machinery is I think 10 lakh, isn't it? Yes. 10 lakh inner column. Then land and buildings are there. Land and buildings 20 lakh. 20 lakh, 30 lakh total, 30 lakh, isn't it? Right here, note number 1, tangible assets, sorry, not note number 1, note number 5, it's 30 lakh, 30 lakh. Over. Now let us see whether there are intangible assets. No, there are no intangible assets. Then, that's all. Non-current investments. Non-current investments, long-term investments, right? Long-term investments. Whether there are any long-term investments? No. Current investments are there. Long-term investments are, no, long-term investments are not there. Yes. So, we'll take up next part, that is long-term loans and advances are not there, right? No. Then other non-current assets. Non-current assets are not there. Moving on to current assets. Now, moving on to second one, current assets. Current assets, isn't it? One is cash equivalents, 10 lakh. Then are there any other current assets? Yes, plant and inventories are there. Inventories, I think 14 lakh, 14 plus cash equivalents 10, isn't it? 24. 24 lakh, isn't it? Yes. Then one more item is there, current investments are there. So we'll take up under that current assets. Current investments, first item. Point A, current investments. No need of working note for this. Current investments, how much it is? 8 lakh. 8 lakh. Then current assets. Inventories are there separately, isn't it? Point B, inventories. Inventories. How much it is? Inventories. 14 lakh. 14 lakh. Then are there any other assets? Cash and cash equivalents are there, separate item, right? Cash and cash equivalents, yes, write it as C, cash and cash equivalents. Is it 10 lakh? Cash and cash equivalents? Yes, it is 10 lakh, correct? 10 lakh. That's all. I think all the items are covered, isn't it? Yes. Let us see the total. 30 plus 8, 38, 48, 452, 62. It agrees. That's all. 62 lakh. 62 lakh. 62 lakh. So your problem is solved. That's all. That's all. Total agrees. Liability and asset total agrees, isn't it? Yes. Take down assignment. Assignment. Solve the same problem. Solve the same problem, that is Surya Limited, and submit assignment on time. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.